Hello, everyone. Welcome to Conversations with Sekani, a podcast for people in their 20s who are trying to figure out life and not get lost along the way. Today's guest is Regina Oswald, designer, certified ICF coach, creator of the Body Mind Harmony program, and author of Liberation from the Diet Prison. With over 14 years in the medical and pharmaceutical fields and having Harvard's Wellbeing and Nutrition program, Regina bridges science with intuition to guide women toward lasting mind-body harmony. Her work challenges diet culture and offers something different, transformation rooted in self-trust, nourishment, and compassion, not deprivation or punishment. Regina, welcome to Conversations with Sekani. It's a pleasure to have you here.
So much. Thank you, Joy. And it's absolute pleasure to be here. It's also absolute pleasure to be invited to the podcast for someone who is in their 20s because I'm already close to my 50. So,
Wow.
yeah,
Wow.
I'm turning 48 in the end of the month. And I'm proudly say that, even though it's not traditionally something that women talk about, but I'm proud of my age and I don't hide it. So I'm embracing it, right?
Um,
So I'm happy to be here.
all right. Wow. Okay. By the way, you look like you're in your 20s. You look gorgeous.
Thank you. I feel like I'm in my 20s.
All right. Wow, that's even better. Okay, so yeah, let's talk about, breaking free from diet culture. So you call it the diet prison. Why did you use that language?
It's a great question, and it's basically because prison, it's something that holds you, that has a rule,
Mm,
that does not give you freedom.
mm,
And if you break those rules, it punishes you. And in situation with diet prison, I felt like I was a prisoner, I was a guard, I was the judge, I was my own warden. And I was going from one role to another, punishing, depriving, making sure controlling the rules are all fulfilled.
mm,
And then if they're broken, punishing. And that was just on and on and on.
mm,
And it's interesting because something that starts in relationship to your food and your body, but
mm,
also affects so many other aspects of your life.
mm,
So
mm,
it's kind of like because that's where all your focus is on controlling your body, controlling your weight, controlling your portions, controlling um, how you look, how big is your waist, and especially in today's world where we live in the world of filtered faces and edited bodies and the standards that whisper and sometimes shout that in order to be loved, to be worthy of love, we have to be thinner, we have to be this, we have to be that, we have to be perfect.
mm. Okay.
And that noise becomes so loud in our heads that we stop hearing our own voice. So we disconnect from our bodies. We are racing, we are trying to achieve those standards that are dictated by a
Mm,
filtered world. That's not even like you cannot even achieve that because it's filter, right?
mm,
And you are losing contact with your own body, your own biology, your own needs. I started dieting when I was a teenager, and I grew up in a family with a lot of overweight, obese, overweight people. Like, um, I can say in kilograms, so I can say in pounds. So it's 180 kilo. My grandfather was 180 kilograms. It's like over 400 pounds.
mm,
So my uncle, my great grandmother, my mother, they were struggling with a lot of weight. And with that weight came a lot of physical illnesses. And I saw it and I said, I will never be in that situation. So I did not really understand that that was their lifestyle, that were their choices that brought them to that situation, not because they were genetically predisposed. Yes, we're genetically big people. I am a tall
mm,
woman, tall, strong woman, but it has nothing to do with being obese and being sick because of that. So from a very early age, I kind of like learned that I have to control my food because I will end up in the same situation. And I did not want that. And I was controlling my food. I learned how to count my calories, how to, I weighed myself every day. So it was kind of like, and God forbid, it was like few grams more than it should be. So, and that became kind of like a prison where I stayed for 30 years.
Mm. 30
Yes.
years. Wow.
Until it's something that you learn as a child and it
Mm.
just stays with you. It's etched into your nervous system. And when you get, a little bit of freedom, you kind of like, oh my God, it's the life is too good. No, 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 no. I have to control it. I have to control my food. How much food did I eat? I have to go to the gym. I have to. So, and 2020, I created my clothing brand. I created my clothing collection, 22 pieces, and I supposed to launch it. And I've never been into fashion, but that was my childhood dream. And I created 22 pieces. And you know how to create pieces. It's very time consuming. It's like, 22 separate pieces was my first collection.
Mm.
And we're supposed to launch it March 31st, 2020. March 16th was the order, shelter in place.
Mm.
So the launch became virtual and I could not hire a model. So I decided to become a model. My husband and my son became my photographers. So they took my pictures, I looked at them, and I was not satisfied. They did not look like I did not look like model, at least I how I thought that I should. So I starved myself to 1,000 calories a day. 1,000 calories. Okay. Yes, I lost weight very fast, but I also lost my hair.
Mm.
I got iron deficiency anemia. I got compulsive overeating, and it brought me to early menopause. This is all because my body finally said, it's enough. We're not doing that anymore. That moment was the final kind of like, that was the bottom. And I truly prayed to God, and I put it in my book, it's in my book. I prayed to God to give me the way out,
Mm.
to give me the way out of it because I was so frustrated. My body completely shut down on me. It stopped talking to me. I could not understand what to do, how to sustain that weight loss that I achieved through 1,000 calories. It was not sustainable.
Mm.
People many times do not understand that it's more important what you're going to do after and focus on that lifestyle versus how I'm going to get there. Because when people do something that's not sustainable, eventually it will go, it basically it's like a spring that the more you
Mm.
press, the further it will go. So you
Mm.
follow the wagon, and usually people end up, after the diets, people end up gaining even more weight. We know it all,
Mm.
we've been there. So basically, I started learning. I took a class on wellness and nutrition within Harvard Medical School. I started working with psychologists because that problem is four-dimensional, and I'll explain
Mm.
why. So when I was a kid and I learned how to make clothes for my dolls at a very early age. My grandma was a seamstress, so I was probably about 5 years old when I learned how to hold the needle and the thread and create something. But I did not know how to make patterns. So I was creating flat clothes for my dolls. And I was very frustrated that the flat cloth did not fit on my dolls because my
Yeah.
dolls were 3D, right?
Mm.
So
Yeah.
I tried to put pants because the silhouette had the pants, but like they were flat, and I could not fit it into my dolls. Later on, I
Mm.
realized because my dolls are 3D. The same
Mm.
thing here. If we trying to achieve great shape and great wellness and a great sustainable well-being, we cannot just look at the nutrition and the physical activity. We have to look at psychology.
Mm.
And so we have to connect our body and mind. That's why it's called Journey to Body-Mind Harmony. And then the fourth
mm,
dimension is time, because we are all wired differently. And some
mm,
people, it will take longer. And for some people, it will be faster. And we just
mm,
have to respect our own pace. And depending
mm,
what age we are facing this situation where we want to change something in our mentality and we want to free ourselves from that diet mentality. If that
mm,
happens in 20s, it would probably, the results would be faster than if someone who is perimenopause or menopause, because the
mm,
body is very slow on reacting on certain
mm,
changes. So we have to respect the pace that we're moving at and give ourselves permission to that we're allowed to move at our own pace.
mm. Okay. Wow, this has been very, very inspiring, actually. And what you said, that's diet prison. It's actually a very big problem, especially amongst women. And I feel like people don't know about this, especially where I come from, Nigeria. The
Huh?
women here are always like, I don't like my weight. I feel overweight. I feel fat, like they're weight conscious, right? So everybody is putting themselves in that diet prison. I'm not even going to lie, I'm among them, right? I suffer from this basically because I try to watch what I eat. I feel like if I take this, I'll get fat. If I take this, I'll get fat. And it's a big problem. And I feel like there should be more awareness about this outside there. So we know how to control it. And when you talk about the mind body harmony, we also need to work on that too. So, yeah, I really do relate with what you're saying. So I want us to talk about, self-trust and self-love, right? You describe this book as like a letter to women who have doubted their worth. So what was the turning point like in your journey,
I
basically?
felt that. So let's go back to the story of when I was 2.5 years old. My parents divorced, and my father was completely out of the picture. So he
Mm,
basically left me.
mm,
And I think at that age, that wound was built, that wound was created. And somehow it was so painful because I was very attached to my father. It was so painful that deep inside, I developed this belief that if I'm perfect, nobody ever rejects me. And that was such illusion because nobody is created to be perfect.
mm,
We are created to be real. We are created in a unique way. God put purpose behind all of us, and we have to embrace who we are. We all look different. We don't have to look alike. We just have to embrace who we are because our body is the first gift that we get from the Creator. Through
mm,
our bodies, our life comes to us, through our heart. And by rejecting our body, by fighting with it, it's almost like I'm telling Creator, I'm unhappy with what you
mm,
gave me. That most precious gift that I got through my body, through the heart, right? My heart beating, because
mm.
without heart, I'm dead. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm basically by looking in the mirror and saying, huh, my hips are too wide. That was my dialogue with me my whole life. My hips are too wide. My legs are too strong and too bulky. My this that was a dialogue. So by doing that, I basically constantly complain about the gift that God gave to me. He gave it to me to take care of it, to love it, and to use it for my own joy and my own self-realization,
Mm,
to achieve my goals, what I want in this life. Because without this body, I cannot feel the taste of life, right?
mm, yeah.
So, and instead of me criticizing it and fighting it and punishing it, because my expectation, I'll tell you a funny story. I was 29 years old when I went to deliver my son to the hospital.
Mm,
I have one son and he is now 18. He's freshman in university. So I was 29 years old and I prepared outfit for my discharge. And my outfit was like like People magazines where like celebrity get out of from the hospital after they deliver, as if nothing happened there, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely flat, absolutely perfect, in a perfect makeup.
Mm.
So my outfit was like that, with like lace boots, like lace designer boots, okay, on this hill. So the moment when I delivered my kid through C-section, okay, my legs were so swollen that I could hardly fit into my rubber slides. That my aunt, because I could not bend because of the pain from C-section, she had to pull it on me, okay, to help me to get dressed. Somehow, I had these expectations that after 9 months of first conceiving, caring, delivering healthy baby, my body has to look this way. Why it doesn't look this way? And it's interesting because when I looked at my baby, I didn't have expectations that my baby would be talking and walking and, having teeth and speaking to me, okay, saying, "Hi, mama." I was so patient giving him care and watching him and giving him love for him to grow. Somehow I was lacking that love to myself. Our body does not need to be controlled. Our body needs to be cared with the respect, with love. Just think about the most valuable gift from the Creator, and you have to respect it, right?
Yeah. Okay. Our body does not need to be controlled. It needs to
No,
be cared for. Okay.
to be
Wow.
loved and appreciated. And
Exactly.
when you change this narrative from like, I have to control my calories, I have to control my food, like I'll tell you, Joy, you from now on, you will have to eat that many calories, you'll have to run that many miles. Your whole body would be like, oh my God, what is she going to do with me again? You're already in a
Mm.
stress mode, right?
Yeah.
Now, if I say your body would really benefit if you will give it all the macronutrients it needs, if you
Mm.
nourish it, considering it desires, it needs, if you move your muscles, you will get a lot of endorphin and you will get, the interesting fact when we move our muscles, there is a little particles, myokines, that when they reach our brain, they give us happiness signal. So
Mm.
it's the way how our body thanks us for moving it.
Okay.
That's how wonderfully we are created.
Hmm.
And that's not my phrase, that's from Bible. We're fearfully
Yeah.
and wonderfully
Wonderfully
made.
made, yes.
Yes, and that's in my book. Like I use a lot of quotes from Bible. I'm a very spiritual person. I use a lot of
Mm.
quotes from Bible, and we just have to remind ourselves
Mm.
and treat our bodies as it was wonderfully and fearfully created. And if we want to change something, we want to change not because we hate it, but because we love it.
Wow. I was going to ask you for, advice you'd have for younger generations. And I also feel like you've given us enough advice, and which is to care for our body. I mean, and the funny thing is, caring for our body that way, this diet prison of a thing, right? If we care for our body, we would come out of that prison. And funny thing is, we'll still be watching our weight. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say. If you eat the right proteins, give yourself the right amount, just treat your body nice, you get the perfect results. So,
Exactly. And
exactly,
another interesting thing, just to kind of like remember. So when you change the narrative, you change the whole nervous system
exactly.
because we have our amygdala. It's our ancient brain and it's like our guard. So
Mm.
it senses any threat, any internal conflict, every time you think about, okay, I'm going on diet because I need to look certain way by certain event, blah, blah, blah. I'm going on vacation. I need to. So even before our cortex
Mm.
understands what's happening, our amygdala sense it as a threat, as
Mm.
you gonna malnourish me.
Mm.
What amygdala does, it sends signal to hypothalamus. The hypothalamus triggers responses in our body and our cortisol is released. When our cortisol is released, it's a main stress hormone of our body. Our body does not self-regulate. Our body does not self-heal. Our body just survives. And when we're on a survival mode,
Yeah.
we don't let anything go. We're holding everything because we do not know if this girl is gonna starve me, if this girl gonna malnourish me. I'm holding everything. Even even more than we started with. Like everything she would give me, I will hold it. When we change the narrative that we're taking care, like my dear body, I will listen to you. I will give you all the proper nourishment. And I will listen what exactly, like when I tell you you need to eat, let's say that amount of protein. By the way, I never use amounts. I never use any kind of like, I use a very interesting method. So this is our stomach. This is a real size of our stomach.
Oh,
Okay. It's
wow.
kind of things like this. Okay. So it's basically two, when it's extended, it's two feasts. When you open those two
Mm,
fists, that's how much food we need. Okay. This is our
mm,
fiber. This is half protein, half complex carbs. If our protein has already fat, let's say if it's a steak, right? We don't add extra fat. If our protein is chicken breast, then we add extra fat. We put some nuts, we put some olive oil, we put like avocado, whatever you want, whatever you like. But you always ask your body, what do you feel like having?
mm,
Because there is a huge variety of vegetables like fiber, complex carbs, proteins. You don't have to eat chicken breast every day. I don't do that. I don't ask you to do that. I am, as you mentioned, I'm ICF coach. It's ICF certified coach. It's International Coaching Federation. And my book, Liberation from a Diet Prison Journey to Body Mind Harmony, is available for pre-order on Amazon. It will be in Kindle and paperback. And it will be launched on March 17th, so people will be able to get it. But they can pre-order right now. And they can find me on reginaoswald.com, just one
mm,
word, reginaoswald.com on my website. They can also contact me on Regina Oswald Collection on Instagram, where I share about my journey. I'm very open about all struggles that I went through and what this liberation gave me. And I'm
okay.
actually coaching also people one-on-one if they're interested.
All right. I'll definitely be visiting you. Okay, I think I've seen your Instagram, but I'll go there again. Right. Yeah. All right. So thank you for this. And to my audience, thanks for tuning in to Conversations with Sekani. If this episode sparked something in you, make sure to share to someone you think might need this and also subscribe so you don't miss out on the episode.